The second issue of G.I. Joe, cover dated August 1982, a bi-monthly series, already with a guest artist on issue number 2. In the world of 1980s comics fandom, this hinted at a series that wasn't a high priority. And in the days of John Byrne mania, a comic that rotated between Herb Trimpe and Don Perlin wasn't going to be attracting much attention from the fan press. Actually, this issue proved that Joe was more than just a vehicle to sell action figures. It was shaping up to be a compelling military adventure series in its own right. Don Perlin is typical of the Joe fill-in artists, perfectly competent and in no way flashy. A few notable events stand out in retrospect. First, this issue introduced the concept of Russian ultra-low frequency beams, a plot element drawn from actual reporting from the USSR. The idea that the Soviets were experimenting with such technology to influence human behavior was once a topic of speculation, and Hama would revisit this theme in later stories. Whether the real-life Soviets actually succeeded with this kind of mind control research remains questionable, but the concept added an eerie, psychological edge to the story. Second, it's the first lead story that did not feature Cobra. This reads as a prototype issue for the upcoming Special Missions series. The opening montage, introducing each cast member, has the first indication that Snake Eyes suffers from some facial disfigurement. While Cobra would become the franchise's most recognizable villainous force, many classic issues of Joe would omit Cobra entirely. This early deviation set the tone for a series that wasn't afraid to explore danger across the globe. Finally, the issue introduced Quinn the Eskimo, a character who would go on to achieve fan-favorite status despite only appearing in a handful of comics. Quinn's distinguished by his blend of honor, cunning, and deadly efficiency as a mercenary. Apparently, Hasbro is distancing itself from the term Eskimo today, even though the term does not have racist origins and most northern indigenous aren't actually offended by the word. And perhaps potentially offended white people should consider that quaint old terms that no one had an issue with as recently as the Obama presidency shouldn't be viewed with the same seriousness as generational poverty or vanishing native languages. In the 1980s, readers managed to rise above their innate bigotry and respect Quinn's calm, philosophical demeanor and his ability to outthink and outmaneuver the Joes at every turn. One oddity about Quinn's depiction, however, lies in his official character bio. He's listed as 6'10" and 260 pounds, a literal giant. At times the art doesn't present him as this unusually tall, though. Some fans have speculated that this was a subtle nod to Jim Shooter, known for his own towering height. Much of the issue revolves around Quinn repeatedly outwitting the Joes as they struggle to survive in the harsh Arctic environment. The level of detail in how the Joes conduct themselves, everything from tactical decision-making to survival techniques, was a revelation for young readers at the time. Unlike many toy-based comics of the era, nothing in this issue reads as a glorified commercial. Instead, it delivers military adventure with stark realism, touching on themes of death, sacrifice, and the harsh realities of combat. Even in 1982, this approach made Joe feel far more mature than most comics on the stands. And that's another installment of A Writer Reflects. Is the narration not soothing? Is the music bed not enough to convince you you're receiving quality YouTube entertainment? You can find links to my fiction and nonfiction in the description. Some literary fiction, some alt-lit, some paranormal, noir, and other genre material can be found there. Most of my reads are free on Kindle Unlimited. Check out the YouTube channel DJ7 Gaming and Comics for animated versions of classic Joe comics. And for anyone curious about the history of Joe, 3djoes.com is of course the best resource you can find. If you'd like future installments, or also have memories of the Marvel days of Joe, leave a comment and let me know. I'd be curious to hear from any creators who were also inspired by these old comics. I'm obligated to ask you to like, share, and subscribe, so I'm doing that now. But really, comments are fun and I'd appreciate hearing from you. Thanks and good night, and maybe one day I'll have a real sign-off.